Good morning students. In this lecture 22 we will discuss about that what is Coriolis force, what is centrifugal force and what is the effect of centrifugal force which arises due to the rotation of earth on the acceleration due to gravity. So first we will discuss that what is this Coriolis force. So as in our previous lecture we have studied the article of fictitious forces acting in the rotating frame of reference, and from that article we have derived this relation. So actually what is this? This is the total force, net force acting on any particle in rotating frame of reference. And what is the rotating frame of reference? It is frame of reference S dash. So this on left hand side we have the force or the net force acting on the particle in the rotating frame of reference S dash, and it is equal to the real force or the force acting on the particle in inertial frame S. Then there are two another terms in the expression. So where this first term, this is the force acting on the particle in inertial frame S, and it is equal to m into as. Now as you can see, this first term, it doesn't contain omega. And what is this omega? Omega vector is the angular velocity with which the frame S dash is rotating. So what is omega vector? Omega vector is the angular velocity of the rotation of the rotating frame of reference S dash. Now this first term, as it doesn't contain omega, it means this term, it is independent of omega. Means this first term, it is independent of the angular velocity of the rotation of rotating frame. It means this first term, it doesn't depend upon the rotation of the rotating frame. So therefore this is the inertial term. So that is why this first term, it is called as inertial or the real force acting on the particle in inertial frame S. Then what about this second term? This second term, which is minus 2m omega cross Vr, as you can see, it depends upon omega vector as well as upon Vr vector. And what is this omega vector? Omega vector is the angular velocity of the rotating frame of reference S dash. And what is this Vr vector? It is the velocity of the particle which we are considering in the rotating frame S dash. Vr means it is the velocity of the particle in rotating frame S dash. So now you can see, as left hand side is representing force, so all the terms on the right hand side will also represent force. It means this term minus 2m omega cross Vr, it represents force. But which force? It is known as Coriolis force. So this Coriolis force, it is equal to minus 2m omega cross Vr. Now as this Coriolis force, it depends upon omega, means it depends upon angular velocity of the rotating frame S dash. It means this Coriolis force arises due to the rotation of the rotating frame S dash. And what does this mean? It means if this omega vector is 0, and if this omega vector is 0, what does it mean? It means the frame S dash is not rotating at all. So if omega vector is 0, if this omega vector is 0, then this F Coriolis will be 0. And what is the meaning of omega vector 0? It means S dash frame is not rotating at all. If its angular velocity is 0, it means it is not rotating at all. So at that time, this Coriolis force will be 0. It means this Coriolis force, it only arises due to the rotation of the rotating frame of reference S dash, which is due to its non-zero angular velocity. So if angular velocity of the frame is 0, it means that frame is not rotating, and if the frame is not rotating, then the Coriolis force, it will also not be acting on the particle in the rotational frame. So Coriolis force will be 0. And second is this term, it contains this VR. And what is this VR? It means F Coriolis will be 0. This Coriolis force will be 0 if this VR is 0. And what is this VR? It is the velocity of the particle in the rotating frame S dash. So if the velocity of the particle in rotating frame S dash, in rotating frame S dash is 0, then Coriolis force will be 0. It means if the particle is at rest in the rotating frame, even then there will be no Coriolis force acting on that particle. So Coriolis force acts on the particle in the rotating frame S dash if and only if the frame is rotating with some non-zero angular velocity, and second thing is that the particle is in motion in the rotating frame S dash. Only then Coriolis force will be acting on that particle in the rotating frame S dash. And one more thing, as you can see, this is the cross product of two terms, two vectors. And the cross product of two vectors, its direction is perpendicular to the individual vectors. It means what will be the direction of this Coriolis force? It will be in the direction perpendicular to omega vector and VR vector. So F Coriolis is directed in a direction which is perpendicular to both omega vector as well as VR vector. So this is all about Coriolis force. This is the fictitious force which arises in the rotating frame of reference because of the rotational motion of the frame of reference, and second because of the motion of the particle in the rotating frame. So if one of the two is 0, then this fictitious force F Coriolis will be 0 in that non-inertial frame. Now next is, what is centrifugal force? So the next term in that expression, it was minus m omega cross r. And this term is called as centrifugal force on the particle. If we have positive sign here, then this term, it will be representing centripetal force on the particle. And what is the difference between centripetal force and centrifugal force? The centripetal force, if any particle, if it is in rotational motion, then the direction of centripetal force, it is towards the center or towards the axis of rotation. But the direction of centrifugal force, it is always outwards, away from the axis of rotation. And the magnitude of centripetal force and centrifugal force is equal. So as this term contains negative sign, it means this term is representing centrifugal force acting on the particle. And this particle, it is present in rotating frame of reference S dash. Now as you can see, this term, it also contains omega. And what is this omega? It is the angular velocity of the rotating frame S dash. So this centrifugal force, it also arises due to the rotational motion of the rotating frame S dash. And this centrifugal force will be 0 if this rotating frame S dash is not rotating at all. Because if this frame S dash, it is not rotating at all, then its angular velocity omega vector will be 0, which will make this centrifugal force equals to 0. So both of these forces, Coriolis force and centrifugal force, they arise due to the rotational motion of the rotating frame of reference S dash. Next is, why Earth is actually a non-inertial frame, but still we take it as inertial frame because we take all the lab frames which are attached to Earth, fixed with Earth, as inertial frames. it means we generally take Earth as an inertial frame, but actually it is a non-inertial frame. So now see, we know that Earth is in rotational motion about its own axis, and also at the same time Earth is revolving around the Sun. And what is the time taken by the Earth to complete one revolution around the Sun? It is 1 year. And 1 year, it is equal to 365 days. And 1 day, it is equal to 24 hours. And why 1 day is equal to 24 hours? Because Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation about its own axis. So that is why 1 day, it is the time taken by Earth to complete one rotation about its own axis. So, what will be the time taken by the Earth to complete one revolution around the Sun? Suppose it is capital T and it is equal to 1 year, and 1 year is equal to 365 days. And now we know that this 1 day, it is equal to 24 hours. So it will be 365 into 1 day. What is 1 day? It is 24 hours. Next, we know that 1 hour, it is equal to 60 minutes. And then we know that 1 minute, it is equal to 60 seconds. So the total time taken by the Earth to complete one revolution around the Sun in terms of seconds, it is equal to this. And we have to find the orbital velocity of the Earth. What is the velocity of the Earth in its orbit? So we know that velocity, it is equal to distance upon time or displacement upon time. Suppose this is Sun and this is Earth revolving around Sun, then what will be the total distance covered by the Earth? It will be the circumference of this circle, and circumference is 2 pi r. And what will be r? It is the distance of Earth from Sun, or radius of its orbit. And radius of orbit is 1.49 into 10 raised to power 11 meters. So put the value of r here and put the value of t here. And what you will get? 2 into pi is 22 by 7 into r is 1.49 into 10 raised to power 11 divided by t is this. So you will get the orbital velocity of Earth. It is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 4 meter per second. Or you can say that 30 kilometer per second. Earth moves 30 kilometers in 1 second. Then what about centripetal acceleration? Because we know that Earth is in rotational motion about its axis, and also it is revolving around the Sun. So because of its rotational motion around the Sun, there will be centripetal force acting on it. And what will be the centripetal acceleration? The expression for the centripetal acceleration which arises due to the rotation of Earth around Sun, it is v square by r. What is v? It is the orbital velocity which we have just calculated, and it is 3 into 10 raised to power 4 square. Units are meter per second square of acceleration, divided by r is radius of orbit, which is 1.49 into 10 raised to power 11. So after solving this, the centripetal acceleration will come out to be approximately equal to 6 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So as you can see, it is 6 into 10 raised to power minus 3, or you can say that it is 0.006 meter per second square, which is very small. It means because of the rotation of Earth around Sun, acceleration is produced, but this acceleration which is produced, it is very, very small. So from one perspective, from one point of view, you can say that this is non-zero. Means the value of acceleration which is produced due to the rotation of Earth around Sun, it is non-zero. It means Earth is non-inertial frame. Why Earth is non-inertial frame? Because all those frames are inertial whose acceleration is 0. We have already studied in the first lecture of this chapter, in the introduction of this chapter, that all those frames having 0 acceleration, which are unaccelerated, they are inertial frames. So here acceleration comes out to be non-zero. It means Earth is non-inertial frame. But on the other side, from the other perspective, if you see that this value is very small, 0.006. So that is why for practical purposes it can be taken as inertial frame. So that is why we consider all our lab frames to study any phenomena which are attached to the surface of Earth as an inertial frame. So for practical purposes, because this acceleration comes out to be very small, that is why we take Earth as inertial frame, but actually Earth is non-inertial frame. Now one more thing. For any non-inertial frame or the frame which is rotating, its angular velocity is non-zero. So next we will find the angular velocity of Earth and see that Earth's angular velocity is 0 or non-zero. Because Earth is rotating about its axis, so its angular velocity must be non-zero. So what will be the angular velocity omega? It will be 2 pi by t. Because it is omega, it is equal to 2 pi nu. And nu is linear frequency, which is 1 by t. So it is 2 into what is pi? It is 22 by 7. And what is capital T here? It is different. Suppose it is T dash. Because we have taken this capital T on the previous page as the time period of one revolution of Earth around Sun. But now this T is the time taken by Earth to complete one rotation about its own axis, which is 24 hours. So that is why I have taken it as T dash. So it will be 24 hours. And 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So we have converted this into seconds. This is angle. So we have radian per second. And when you will solve this, and you will get that angular velocity of Earth comes out to be 7.27 into 10 raised to power minus 5 radian per second. Means it is approximately equal to 0.0000727 radian per second, which is very, very small. So that is why for practical purposes Earth is taken as an inertial frame.